The Forbidden Mindset That Leads to Victory. Introduction. There exists a mindset so powerful, so dangerous, that most people will never dare to embrace it. A mindset that defies the rules, shatters limitations, and forges a path to absolute victory. It is not taught in schools, nor is it encouraged by society, because those who adopt it become unstoppable, untamed, and unbreakable. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. This mindset is feared because it cannot be controlled. It is rejected because it refuses to conform. It demands self-reliance, absolute discipline, and the courage to walk a path that few will ever understand. This is the forbidden mindset, the secret weapon of warriors, visionaries, and legends. It is the mindset of those who refuse to be chained by limitations, who turn adversity into their greatest ally, and who move through life with an unshakable sense of purpose. Most people live by the rules set by others, but those who claim true victory, they rewrite the rules. If you're ready to unlock the mindset that the world doesn't want you to have, keep watching, because once you see the truth, there's no going back. Chapter 1. The Sovereign Mind. Detaching from society's illusions. Victory begins with sovereignty, the absolute control over your own mind. Without it, every action, every decision, and every belief you hold is influenced by forces beyond your awareness. Society functions by keeping people contained within invisible prisons, prisons of expectation, comparison, and false success. These prisons are not built with walls or chains, but with ideas, norms, and unspoken rules that dictate how people should live, think, and behave. From the moment we are born, we are conditioned to fit into a mold. We are taught what is acceptable, what is possible, and what is off limits. The education system tells us what knowledge is important. The media tells us what we should value. Our families and communities impose their own expectations of who we should become. Over time, these influences shape our reality, and without realizing it, we begin to live a life that is not truly our own. The tragedy is that most people never question these boundaries. They accept the idea that success means following a predefined path, getting a good education, securing a stable job, buying a house, and conforming to societal standards of happiness. They compare themselves to others, measure their worth by external achievements, and seek validation from authority figures. This is the illusion that keeps them trapped. The forbidden mindset demands that you detach from these illusions. It requires you to break free from the artificial expectations that dictate what success, happiness, and fulfillment should look like. The truth is, success is not a universal concept. It is something deeply personal, unique to each individual. Real victory does not come from external validation. It comes from your ability to see through the lies and reclaim control over your own destiny. This means rejecting the need for approval and developing the courage to think independently. It means breaking away from the herd mentality, the idea that you must follow the same path as everyone else to be worthy. Most people fear being different because they associate it with isolation or failure. But in reality, greatness is only achieved by those who dare to step outside the lines. The ones who refuse to conform are the ones who build new empires, disrupt industries, and change the course of history. You must begin to craft your own definition of success, one that is not dictated by social norms, but by your own passions, purpose, and internal drive. Ask yourself, if no one was watching, if no one was judging me, what would I truly want in life? The moment you stop allowing society to dictate your worth, you become free. And a free mind is the most powerful weapon of all. Because once you control your own thoughts, no one else can control your life. Chapter 2. The Shadow Embrace. Owning the dark side within. Most people are taught to suppress their darkness, to hide their fears, suppress their anger, and reject their more primal instincts. Society labels aggression, ambition, and deep personal hunger as negative traits, something to be tamed or eliminated. But the truth is, these qualities are not weaknesses, they are untapped sources of power. The forbidden mindset does not ask you to deny your darkness. Instead, it demands that you embrace it, integrate it, and use it as fuel. Every person carries an inner fire, a deep reservoir of raw, unfiltered energy that, if harnessed correctly, can propel them toward unstoppable success. Yet most people fear this side of themselves. They are afraid of their own intensity, their own hunger for more, their own deep desires to break free from the limitations set by others. Look at the greatest warriors, leaders, and innovators in history. They were not soft, they were not passive, they were not afraid of their own emotions. They harnessed their darkness, turned their rage into fuel, and used their ambition as a relentless force to push forward. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze them, they weaponized it. Instead of running from their struggles, they faced them head-on and became stronger because of them. Owning your dark side does not mean losing control. It does not mean acting recklessly or harming others. Instead, it means understanding and mastering your emotions, using them as tools rather than allowing them to control you. Anger, when directed properly, becomes passion. Fear, when understood, turns into calculated bravery. Pain, when embraced, forges resilience. The forbidden mindset teaches that true power comes from wholeness, not suppression. The person who accepts all aspects of themselves, the light and the dark, is the one who becomes truly indomitable. When you integrate your inner fire with discipline and focus, you unlock a level of strength that most people will never understand. So stop running from the parts of yourself that society tells you to reject. Accept them, master them, use them. Because the moment you embrace your shadow, you no longer fear anything, not even yourself. And in that moment, you become truly unstoppable. Chapter 3. The Chaos Alchemist. Turning resistance into strength. Adversity is the crucible in which true power is forged. Most people see chaos as an obstacle, a force that disrupts their lives and derails their progress. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset understand a fundamental truth. Chaos is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher and your most powerful ally. Every setback, every betrayal, every failure, and every painful experience carries within it the seeds of immense growth. The masses fear struggle because they have been conditioned to seek comfort, to avoid discomfort, and to expect an easy life. But comfort breeds weakness. True strength is born in the fire of resistance. History's greatest minds and warriors did not rise to greatness in times of ease. They were shaped by war, hardship, rejection, and failure. The more resistance they faced, the stronger they became. Instead of running from struggle, they leaned into it, using every challenge as fuel for their transformation. This is the essence of the Chaos Alchemist, the ability to transmute adversity into power, just as an alchemist turns lead into gold. It is the art of taking pain, fear, and failure, and forging them into weapons of resilience, focus, and mastery. When most people encounter difficulty, they break down. They complain, they seek sympathy, they make excuses. Those who master the forbidden mindset do the opposite. They see obstacles as opportunities, hardships as necessary trials, and suffering as the price of greatness. Instead of resisting the storm, they become the storm. To cultivate this mindset, you must rewire your response to hardship. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can I use this to become stronger?" Instead of complaining about pain, embrace it as a necessary test of your endurance. Instead of avoiding difficulty, step into it with full force, knowing that every challenge is shaping you into something greater. Every time life knocks you down, you have two choices. Let it destroy you, or let it make you indestructible. The Chaos Alchemist does not merely survive adversity, they thrive in it. They take the energy of destruction and transform it into fuel for their own ascension. If you want to be unstoppable, you must stop fearing struggle and start seeing it as a gift. Because those who master chaos do not just win, they dominate. Chapter 4. The Predator's Gaze. Cultivating Relentless Focus. There is a reason why the most dominant predators in the animal kingdom do not hesitate. The lion does not waste time questioning whether it should hunt. The eagle does not second-guess its dive. The panther does not doubt its ability to strike at the right moment. These creatures operate on a level of pure focus, instinct, and decisiveness. And it is this same quality that separates the victorious from the defeated in life. The forbidden mindset demands that you cultivate what can be called the predator's gaze. A level of focus so sharp, so unwavering, that nothing can shake you from your purpose. This is not just about concentration, it is about eliminating distractions, silencing internal doubts, and executing with an almost ruthless level of precision. Most people scatter their energy across too many pursuits, jumping from one goal to the next, chasing short-term pleasures, and getting lost in an endless cycle of procrastination and uncertainty. They lack the ability to lock onto a target and go after it with relentless intensity. The true predator moves differently. It does not chase everything that moves. It chooses its target with absolute clarity and commits fully to the hunt. There is no hesitation, no wasted motion, no second-guessing. This is the kind of focus you must develop if you want to achieve ultimate victory in life. The first step to cultivating this ruthless focus is eliminating unnecessary noise. Every day, you are bombarded with distractions, social media, pointless arguments, endless streams of information, and the expectations of others. If you allow these distractions to dictate your time and attention, you will never achieve anything great. The predator does not waste energy on things that do not serve its mission. It blocks out all irrelevant stimuli and channels every ounce of its power into one singular objective. Next, you must train yourself to think in long-term vision rather than short-term gratification. The weak mind is constantly seeking immediate pleasure, jumping from one excitement to the next without any real progress. The predator, on the other hand, is patient. It sees the bigger picture. It understands that true mastery, true dominance, is not built overnight. It is forged through years of disciplined execution, calculated moves, and unwavering focus on the goal. Most people fail because they allow self-doubt to cloud their vision. They hesitate. They question themselves. They look around to see what others are doing. The predator does not do this. It moves without fear, without seeking validation, without needing permission. It does not wait for the right moment. It creates the moment. This is the essence of the forbidden mindset. The ability to act with absolute confidence and clarity, regardless of what the world around you is doing. Another critical aspect of developing the predator's gaze is learning to control your emotions and discipline your mind. Weak minds are constantly at war with themselves, distracted by their own fears, insecurities, and fluctuating emotions. The predator does not allow emotions to dictate its actions. It moves based on strategy, not feelings. It does not care if it is tired, if the conditions are not perfect, or if the world is against it. It simply moves forward, adjusting as needed, but never stopping. This level of focus requires a level of mental toughness that most people are unwilling to develop. It means sacrificing comfort. It means saying no to distractions, even when they seem tempting. It means waking up every day with a clear purpose and executing without excuses. It means training your mind to see distractions as threats to your success and eliminating them without hesitation. When you cultivate the predator's gaze, you step into a level of power that few ever reach. You no longer waste time on things that do not matter. You no longer feel lost or uncertain. You no longer chase meaningless goals. Instead, you become the hunter in your own life, the one who sets the target, moves with precision, and does not stop until victory is secured. This is the focus that separates the weak from the unstoppable. If you want to win, you must train yourself to see only the goal and move towards it with absolute, unwavering intensity. You must eliminate distractions, act with calculated aggression, and develop the patience to strike at the perfect moment. Because in the end, it is not the strongest or the smartest who dominate. It is the one with the sharpest focus and the will to execute relentlessly. Chapter 5. The War of One, Becoming Your Own Master. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against external enemies, unfair circumstances, or the opinions of others. The true war is the one within yourself. The war between discipline and weakness, between action and procrastination, between self-mastery and self-destruction. This war is fought every single day, in every decision you make, in every moment of hesitation or commitment. And the outcome of this war determines everything. Most people go through life waiting for someone else to lead them, waiting for a teacher, a mentor, or a system to show them the way. They want someone to hold their hand, to give them permission, to guide them step by step. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset understand that true power lies in self-mastery, not dependence. The most powerful individuals in history, the warriors, the innovators, the game changers, did not wait for approval. They took responsibility for their own evolution. They became their own masters. Becoming your own master means eliminating the illusion that anyone else is responsible for your success. The world does not owe you guidance. No one is coming to save you. There is no magical moment where everything will align perfectly. There is only you, your will, and your ability to take control over your own destiny. The moment you accept this, you take the first step toward true victory. Self-mastery begins with discipline, the ability to act not based on how you feel, but based on what must be done. The weak allow their emotions to dictate their actions. If they don't feel motivated, they stop. If they face resistance, they quit. If things become uncomfortable, they look for an escape. This is why most people never reach their full potential. They are slaves to their own feelings. The warrior, the predator, the master. These individuals do not operate on feelings. They operate on purpose. They do what is necessary, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. They train when they are tired. They work when they are uninspired. They push forward when the odds are stacked against them. They understand that success is not about how you feel. It is about what you do. But self-mastery is not just about discipline. It is also about radical self-awareness, the ability to see your own flaws, weaknesses, and destructive habits without denial or excuses. Most people lie to themselves. They create false narratives to protect their egos. They blame others for their failures. They pretend they are doing their best when deep down they know they are holding back. The master has no room for self-deception. They confront their weaknesses head-on and work relentlessly to eliminate them. To win the war within yourself, you must be willing to face your own darkness. This means identifying the habits that are keeping you weak, the patterns that are making you stagnant, and the excuses that are preventing your growth. Are you wasting time on distractions? Are you avoiding the hard work necessary to reach your goals? Are you letting fear hold you back? The moment you stop lying to yourself, you regain power over your life. Another crucial aspect of self-mastery is independence of thought. The weak follow trends, opinions, and beliefs without questioning them. They allow the world to dictate how they should live, what they should value, and what they should fear. The master does not operate this way. They think for themselves. They question everything. They create their own principles and live by them with absolute conviction. They do not seek validation because they do not need it. This level of independence is rare because it requires extreme accountability. It means owning every aspect of your life, your failures, your setbacks, your weaknesses, without excuses. It means never blaming circumstances, never pointing fingers, never expecting someone else to fix your problems. When you truly become your own master, you realize that everything is within your control. No matter how difficult the situation, no matter how unfair life seems, you always have the power to respond with strength and determination. The war of one is the most important battle you will ever fight. It is the battle to discipline your mind, eliminate your weaknesses, and take full responsibility for your destiny. The weak surrender to this war. They let laziness, fear, and distraction win. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset do the opposite. They become warriors of their own mind, masters of their own fate. And in doing so, they become truly unstoppable. Chapter 6. The Paradox of No Fear. Acting without attachment to outcome. Fear is the invisible chain that keeps people enslaved. It dictates their decisions, paralyzes their actions, and keeps them locked inside a cage of hesitation and self-doubt. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. These are the silent assassins of potential, the forces that keep most people from ever realizing what they are truly capable of. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset understand a truth that few ever grasp. To win, you must be willing to lose. To succeed, you must be prepared to fail. To live without limits, you must detach from the fear of loss. This is the paradox of no fear, not the absence of fear, but the ability to act without attachment to outcome. Most people hesitate in life because they are obsessed with results. They refuse to take risks because they are terrified of failing. They avoid making big moves because they are too concerned with what others will think. They constantly question themselves, overanalyze their decisions, and wait for the perfect moment, which never comes. And in this endless cycle of hesitation, they accomplish nothing. They are alive, but they are not living. The predator, the warrior, the master. These individuals do not operate this way. They understand that fear is nothing more than a mental construct, an illusion created by the mind to protect itself from discomfort. But discomfort is the gateway to power. The greatest victories in history were won by those who moved forward despite uncertainty, acted despite risk, and refused to let fear dictate their choices. To embrace this mindset, you must detach from outcomes. This does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become reckless or indifferent. Instead, it means that your actions are not controlled by the fear of what might happen. Whether you win or lose, succeed or fail, you remain unshaken. You do not allow temporary results to define you, because you understand that true mastery is built over time. Think of the warrior stepping onto the battlefield. He does not fight with hesitation. He does not stop mid-strike, questioning whether he will win. He moves with absolute commitment, absolute presence, absolute conviction. He understands that to fight with fear is to invite defeat. He knows that survival belongs to those who act with unbreakable confidence. This is how you must approach life. If you want to achieve greatness, you must train yourself to act without hesitation. Whether it's starting a business, mastering a skill, pursuing a dream, or confronting a challenge, you must commit fully without obsessing over the outcome. If you fail, you learn. If you lose, you adapt. If you fall, you rise again. But you do not stop, ever. The moment you stop fearing failure, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop needing approval, you become powerful. The moment you stop attaching your self-worth to outcomes, you become truly free. And this freedom is what separates the weak from the dominant, the hesitant from the fearless, the forgotten from the legendary. The masses live in a prison of their own making, shackled by fear, waiting for certainty, avoiding risk, and settling for a life of quiet mediocrity. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset move through life like warriors, with boldness, clarity, and absolute self-trust. They take action while others hesitate. They make decisions while others overthink. They take risks while others seek comfort. And because of this, they win, again and again, while everyone else remains stuck. This is the paradox of no fear. It is not about never feeling afraid. It is about never letting fear control your actions. It is about detaching from the illusion of certainty, refusing to be a slave to results, and acting with the kind of unstoppable intent that bends reality to your will. Because in the end, the world does not belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who move forward, without fear, without limits, and without hesitation. Chapter 7. The Immortal Drive, Becoming an Unstoppable Force. There are two types of people in this world: those who stop when they meet resistance, and those who keep going no matter what stands in their way. The first group is the majority. They start with excitement, full of ambition and dreams, but the moment things get difficult, they slow down. They let fatigue, failure, and frustration break their momentum. They lose sight of their purpose and settle for whatever life gives them. But the second group, the rare few, operate on a different level. They do not stop, ever. They move forward with a force that cannot be tamed, a hunger that cannot be satisfied, and a mindset that does not allow for failure. No setback, no pain, no loss can make them quit. They are driven by something deeper than motivation, an immortal drive that makes them unstoppable. This is the final and most powerful secret of the forbidden mindset, the ability to keep pushing forward no matter what. This is what separates the legends from the forgotten. The truth is, life will hit you harder than you can imagine. You will face rejection, betrayal, exhaustion, and moments where everything seems to be falling apart. Most people break under this weight. They make excuses. They slow down. They stop trying. But the unstoppable mind sees these moments as tests, opportunities to prove their resilience. Every struggle, every challenge, every painful moment is a chance to grow stronger, to sharpen their will, to forge themselves into something greater. Instead of seeing obstacles as reasons to stop, they see them as reasons to go even harder. The Immortal Drive comes from one simple belief: there is no finish line. Most people think success is a destination, that once they reach a certain level, they can relax. This is why they never achieve true greatness, because they stop moving forward. But those with the forbidden mindset understand that there is no limit, no final victory, no moment where they can afford to slow down. They keep evolving, keep learning, keep sharpening their edge, because the moment they stop, they start dying. To develop this drive, you must train yourself to reject comfort, embrace struggle, and fall in love with the process. Weak minds are obsessed with results. They need immediate rewards, quick wins, and constant validation. But true warriors focus only on one thing: becoming better every single day. They don't care how long it takes, how many times they fail, or how hard the road is. They simply refuse to quit. You must make the decision that nothing will stop you, that no matter how tired, how defeated, how hopeless things seem, you will keep going. Because in the end, success is not about talent, intelligence, or luck. It is about endurance, the ability to keep standing when everyone else has fallen, the ability to keep fighting when every part of you wants to quit, the ability to move forward even when the path is unclear. This is what it means to have the Immortal Drive. It is not about winning once. It is about becoming someone who never stops improving, never stops pushing, never stops striving for more. It is about becoming a force so relentless that no failure, no rejection, no hardship can ever break you. Because the world does not belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who refuse to be stopped. Chapter 8. The Dominance Paradox. Controlling the world by controlling yourself. Power is a concept most people misunderstand. They believe it comes from external factors: money, status, influence, or control over others. They chase power in the form of recognition, thinking that dominance is about forcing the world to bend to their will. But those who truly understand the forbidden mindset know that real power does not come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself. This is the paradox of dominance. You do not control the world until you first master your own mind, emotions, and actions. Weak people attempt to dominate their surroundings without ever mastering themselves. They react emotionally, seek validation, and allow external circumstances to dictate their state of mind. They lash out in anger, make impulsive decisions, and crumble under pressure. This is why they will never have true power. The truly dominant individual, the one who cannot be shaken, cannot be controlled, cannot be defeated, has mastered the art of absolute self-control. They operate with precision, discipline, and unshakable mental fortitude. No insult can provoke them. No failure can discourage them. No challenge can make them hesitate. They move through life like an unstoppable force, unaffected by the chaos around them. This level of mastery is not achieved overnight. It requires years of discipline, a willingness to confront your weaknesses, and the courage to strip away every layer of emotional fragility. The moment you become indifferent to external validation, resistant to emotional manipulation, and immune to fear, you become a true force of nature. To reach this level, you must eliminate the illusion of control over things outside yourself. Most people waste their energy trying to control what others think, how they react, or the outcome of every situation. This is a fool's game. The truth is, you cannot control anything outside yourself, but you can control how you respond. You can train your mind to remain calm under pressure, to see through deception, and to act with absolute clarity in moments of chaos. Imagine a storm, violent winds, crashing waves, total destruction. Most people are like leaves in the wind, thrown in every direction by their emotions and external circumstances. But the individual with true dominance is the one who stands still, untouched by the storm, unaffected by the destruction around them. They do not fight the storm. They let it rage while they remain unmoved. This is the essence of true power, the ability to move through the world with absolute control over yourself, while others are ruled by their impulses, fears, and desires. But this power does not come easily. It requires the ability to do what most people cannot. Silence your emotions when necessary. Delay gratification. Withstand discomfort. Make decisions based on logic, not impulse. It requires patience, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to long-term vision. Most people will never reach this level because they are too controlled by their own emotions, their need for approval, their fear of failure. They are reactive, weak, and easily manipulated. They make choices based on temporary emotions instead of long-term mastery. They let the world control them instead of mastering themselves. But you are not most people. If you have embraced the forbidden mindset, then you already understand that power is an inside game. The more you control yourself, the more influence you have over everything around you. You begin to move strategically, think 3 steps ahead, and execute with precision. You no longer react. You calculate and dominate. When you reach this level, you no longer seek power. Power seeks you. People begin to look to you for leadership because they sense your unshakable presence. Opportunities appear because you are seen as someone who is always in control. The world bends to your will, not because you force it to, but because you have mastered yourself so completely that nothing can stand in your way. This is the paradox of dominance. To control the world, you must first control yourself. Those who attempt to dominate others without first mastering themselves always fall. But those who achieve absolute self-mastery become an unstoppable force, one that cannot be broken, manipulated, or defeated. True power is not about controlling others. It is about becoming someone so powerful, so disciplined, so unshakable, that the world itself adjusts to your presence. Chapter 9. The Death of the Old Self. Rebuilding Yourself Without Limits. Most people carry an invisible weight, a version of themselves that no longer serves them. A self built on fear, doubt, past failures, and the expectations of others. They walk through life shackled by an identity they did not consciously choose, clinging to an outdated version of who they think they are. This old self is the reason they remain stuck, why they never reach their full potential, why they hesitate when they should move forward. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset understand one fundamental truth. To become someone new, the old self must die. Growth is not about improvement. It is about destruction and reconstruction. It is about burning down everything that no longer serves you and rebuilding yourself without limits. This process is not easy. Most people fear change because they are attached to their past. They define themselves by old experiences, old beliefs, old identities that they refuse to let go of. But you cannot carry your old self into a new life. You cannot become unstoppable while holding on to the fears that kept you weak. You cannot reach the next level while dragging the weight of your past failures behind you. You must be willing to let it all go. The death of the old self is an act of radical self-reinvention. It is the decision to no longer be defined by who you were, but by who you are becoming. This requires a complete rewiring of the mind, a rejection of every limitation, every self-doubt, every toxic belief that was implanted in you by society, family, or past experiences. It requires you to consciously destroy the weak version of yourself and build a stronger, sharper, more dominant version in its place. To do this, you must identify everything that is holding you back. What fears keep you from taking action? What habits are keeping you weak? What excuses are keeping you stuck? Be brutally honest. Look at yourself with absolute clarity, without ego, without denial. Then cut away everything that no longer serves you. If it is not making you stronger, it has no place in your life. Most people resist this because it is uncomfortable. They fear the unknown. They fear what will happen if they let go of the familiar, even if the familiar is destroying them. But the elite, the warriors, the dominant minds of the world, they embrace this destruction. They burn their past limitations to the ground and emerge from the fire stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. This is the ultimate form of power, the ability to rebuild yourself at will, to wake up every day and decide who you are, what you believe, and what you are capable of, to no longer be a prisoner of your past, but the architect of your future. This is what separates the strong from the weak, the unstoppable from the average, the victorious from the defeated. The death of the old self is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong process. Every time you reach a new level, you must shed your previous identity and step into a new one. The person you are today will not be the person who reaches your next goal. The way you think, act, and operate must evolve constantly. You are not fixed. You are not bound by your past. You are whatever you decide to become. But first, you must be willing to kill the version of yourself that is holding you back. You must be willing to let go of everything that is keeping you weak, everything that is making you hesitate, everything that is preventing you from becoming the most dominant version of yourself. This is the path of true transformation. Destroy the old, build the new, and never stop evolving. Chapter 10. The Relentless Will, Outlasting Everyone and Everything. In the end, the game of life is not won by the smartest, the most talented, or even the strongest. It is won by those who refuse to quit, those who are willing to endure longer, push further, and fight harder than anyone else. The weak fall away, the hesitant give up, the undisciplined fade into obscurity. But the relentless? They remain, they conquer, they win. The forbidden mindset is built on one ultimate principle: outlast everyone. No matter what happens, no matter how long it takes, no matter how brutal the path, you do not stop. Most people are driven by temporary motivation. They push themselves when they feel inspired, but when challenges arise, they hesitate, slow down, and eventually stop. This is why they fail. They lack the endurance, the mental toughness, the relentless will to keep going when everything is against them. But those who possess the relentless will operate differently. They do not need motivation because they have discipline. They do not rely on ideal circumstances because they have adaptability. They do not break under pressure because they have trained themselves to thrive in discomfort. While others search for excuses, they search for solutions. While others surrender, they advance. The world will test you. It will throw obstacles in your path. It will push you to your limits, break you down, and demand that you quit. Most people will. They will tell themselves it is too hard. They will convince themselves that success is not meant for them. They will fall into the trap of self-pity, doubt, and regret. But those with an iron will not break. They will endure. They will outlast. They will keep moving forward until they have crushed every obstacle, silenced every doubt, and achieved what others only dreamed of. To develop this kind of unshakable drive, you must condition your mind to embrace discomfort, struggle, and exhaustion as fuel. Weak minds crave comfort. They look for the easy way out. But warriors, masters, and those who dominate life seek out the hard path. They understand that true power is forged in the fire of resistance. The more they endure, the stronger they become. There will be days when you feel like stopping, when every part of you screams to quit, when progress seems slow and the goal feels unreachable. This is the moment that separates the weak from the strong. This is where most people break. But the relentless mind pushes forward anyway. It does not matter how slow, how painful, or how uncertain the path is. The only thing that matters is that you do not stop. Winning is not about who is the fastest. It is about who is still standing when everyone else has fallen. Every great leader, every champion, every master of their craft, they did not reach the top because they were better. They reached the top because they refused to stop climbing. When others lost faith, they kept going. When others quit, they pressed on. When others looked for shortcuts, they stayed on the path. They simply lasted longer. This is the final secret of the forbidden mindset. If you refuse to quit, you cannot lose. No matter how many failures you face, no matter how many setbacks you endure, if you keep going, you will win in the end. Because success is not about speed, it is about endurance. It is about having the relentless will to outlast everything and everyone. No matter how far you have come, your journey is not over. There is always a next level. There is always another challenge. There is always more to achieve. The weak will stop when they reach one victory. The strong will keep going, knowing that true mastery is a lifelong pursuit. So decide now. Will you be the one who fades away when things get hard? Or will you be the one who keeps going when everyone else has stopped? Because in the end, the world does not belong to the fastest, the strongest, or the luckiest. It belongs to those who refuse to be broken. Chapter 11. The Fire That Never Dies, Sustaining the Hunger for Greatness. Most people start strong. They begin with passion, ambition, and excitement, convinced that they will achieve something great. But over time, their fire fades. They get comfortable, they slow down. They settle for good enough instead of pushing for the extraordinary. This is the fate of the many, the ones who once had dreams but let them die out because they could not sustain the hunger that greatness requires. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset understand that true success is not about starting strong. It is about staying relentless. The fire must never die. The hunger must never fade. If you truly want to dominate in life, you must find a way to keep your drive burning, even when others lose theirs. This is where most people fail. They achieve a little success, and suddenly they think they can relax. They slow down. They stop improving. And before they realize it, they have lost their edge. This is why the best of the best never stop pushing forward. They never let their fire fade, no matter how much they have achieved. They know that the moment they get comfortable is the moment they start losing. The key to sustaining the hunger for greatness is understanding that there is no finish line. The weak chase a single goal, thinking that once they achieve it, they can finally rest. But the strong know that greatness is a lifelong pursuit. They do not work hard just to make it. They work hard because it is who they are. Their identity is built on mastery, improvement, and progress. This is why champions, warriors, and industry leaders never retire from their mindset. Even when they reach levels others only dream of, they do not stop. They wake up every day and look for ways to improve, sharpen their skills, and push their limits. Because they understand a simple truth. The fire, must always be fed. One of the biggest reasons people lose their drive is that they allow themselves to become comfortable. They build a life of ease, avoiding challenges instead of chasing them. But ease is the enemy of greatness. If you want to stay hungry, you must constantly seek out new battles to fight, new mountains to climb, and new ways to challenge yourself. Every time you achieve something great, instead of celebrating for too long, ask yourself, what's next? Where is the next level? What is the next impossible challenge you can take on? The moment you believe you have arrived is the moment you start declining. You must stay in a constant state of war, always sharpening, always growing, always moving forward. Another reason people lose their hunger is that they allow their environment to weaken them. If you surround yourself with average people, their mindset will infect you. If you spend time in comfort, it will soften you. If you stop testing yourself, you will become weak without even realizing it. You must create an environment that forces you to stay sharp, stay focused, and stay in attack mode. This means constantly pushing your limits, training harder when you feel like taking it easy, setting goals so big they scare you, competing against your own past self every single day. Most people want an easy life. But those who understand the forbidden mindset know that the moment life gets too easy is the moment you are dying inside. You must commit to a mindset of endless growth. Every day you either become stronger or weaker. There is no in-between. You must choose again and again to keep the fire alive, to never stop, never slow down, never settle. Because in the end, greatness is not about reaching the top. It is about staying at the top when everyone else falls. The world is filled with people who started strong and then disappeared. Do not be one of them. Be the one who keeps going when others have stopped. Be the one who never loses the hunger, never lets the fire die, and never stops pushing forward. Because the moment you stop growing, you start dying. So, make the decision now. Will you burn out like the rest? Or will you become the fire that never dies? Chapter 12. The Unbreakable Mind. Becoming indestructible in a world that wants you weak. The world is designed to break you. Every system, every expectation, every structure is built to make you doubt yourself, weaken your resolve, and conform to the standards of the average. From the moment you are born, you are fed fear, given limits, and programmed to believe that certain things are impossible or unrealistic. You are taught to obey, to accept mediocrity, and to fear stepping outside the boundaries set by society. But those who embrace the forbidden mindset reject this programming. They refuse to be broken. They become unbreakable. An unbreakable mind is not about arrogance or blind confidence. It is about absolute inner strength, the kind that allows you to keep going when everything around you is falling apart. It is the ability to stand tall in the face of failure, betrayal, loss, and overwhelming pressure without ever losing control. It is the power to remain calm when others panic, focused when others become distracted, and relentless when others give up. Most people crumble when life gets hard because they were never trained to endure pain. They were never forced to face themselves, question their beliefs, or push beyond their comfort zone. They have been conditioned to break at the first sign of struggle. This is why the weak quit at the first failure, why they give up when things get uncomfortable, and why they never reach their full potential. But those with an unbreakable mind see adversity as a test. Every hardship is an opportunity to grow. Every setback is a lesson. Every painful experience is a chance to become stronger. Instead of breaking under pressure, they harden under it. Instead of running from struggle, they welcome it as a sharpening stone. To develop this kind of resilience, you must first train your mind to detach from emotional weakness. Most people allow their feelings to dictate their actions. If they are tired, they stop. If they feel discouraged, they give up. If they fail, they convince themselves they are not good enough. This is why they lose. The unbreakable mind does not operate this way. It does not care about momentary discomfort, fleeting emotions, or external negativity. It only cares about one thing: forward motion. Pain is temporary, fear is temporary, doubt is temporary, but an unbreakable mind is forever. The ability to keep moving forward, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how impossible things seem, is what separates those who win from those who fade into nothingness. One of the most powerful tools for building an unbreakable mind is controlled suffering. This means deliberately putting yourself in situations where you must endure hardship, where you must overcome resistance, where you must fight through pain. This could mean pushing yourself harder in training, embracing difficult challenges without hesitation, or forcing yourself to do things that scare you on a regular basis. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the less power it has over you. But mental toughness is not just about enduring pain. It is about controlling your mind in moments of chaos. The unbreakable mind does not panic when things go wrong. It does not allow anger, frustration, or fear to cloud judgment. It remains cold, calculating, and in full control, no matter the situation. This is why those who have mastered this mindset can walk through fire without flinching, why they can take massive risks without fear, and why they always seem to be 5 steps ahead of everyone else. Weak minds are easily manipulated by circumstances, emotions, and the opinions of others. They react instead of acting. They crumble under pressure instead of rising to the occasion. They hesitate when they should strike. But an unbreakable mind chooses its response. It does not let the world dictate its state of mind. It decides its own reality. To truly become unbreakable, you must also eliminate all weakness from your self-identity. You must refuse to see yourself as someone who tries. You must see yourself as someone who does. You must stop allowing self-doubt to take up space in your mind. You must see yourself as unstoppable, as unshakable, as someone who cannot and will not be broken. This is not delusion. It is training. Just as the body grows stronger through physical training, the mind becomes unbreakable through relentless conditioning. Every time you refuse to quit when you feel like stopping, you strengthen the walls of your mental fortress. Every time you endure pain without breaking, you make yourself more indestructible. Every time you stand firm in the face of resistance, you become someone who cannot be defeated. Most people are weak because they allow the world to shape them. But those who master the forbidden mindset shape themselves. They are not controlled by their environment. They control their environment. They are not victims of life. They dictate how life unfolds. When you reach this level, you no longer fear failure. You no longer hesitate. You no longer question whether you are capable. You simply move forward, knowing that nothing, not pain, not fear, not adversity, can break you. Because in the end, true power does not belong to the strongest or the smartest. It belongs to those who refuse to be broken. Chapter 13. The Phantom Effect. Becoming a force that cannot be ignored or stopped. Most people move through life unnoticed, forgotten as quickly as they appear. They live, they struggle, they fade into obscurity. They leave no mark. They create no impact. And when they are gone, the world does not even notice. But those who understand the forbidden mindset refuse to be invisible. They refuse to be ordinary. They refuse to be forgotten. They become something greater, a phantom force that commands attention, respect, and absolute dominance. The phantom effect is the power to move through the world in a way that cannot be ignored. It is the ability to leave a mark so deep that you are remembered long after you are gone. This is not about fame or superficial recognition. It is about presence, influence, and an energy so powerful that it alters reality itself. To develop this level of impact, you must first understand a brutal truth. Most people are invisible because they choose to be. They blend in, they conform, they hesitate to make bold moves. They fear standing out, so they remain in the background, living a life of quiet mediocrity. But those who become unstoppable know that being unseen is the same as being powerless. They do not fear attention. They demand it. They do not wait for permission to take action. They seize control. They do not ask to be remembered. They force it. The first step to creating the phantom effect is to cultivate a presence that cannot be ignored. This does not mean being loud or seeking attention for the sake of validation. It means moving through life with an intensity and purpose so sharp that people feel it when you walk into a room. Every action you take must be precise, intentional, and executed with absolute confidence. Hesitation is weakness. When you move, move with certainty. When you speak, speak with authority. When you act, act with dominance. The second step is to become a person of high value and undeniable skill. The reason most people are forgotten is that they never develop anything extraordinary within themselves. They do what everyone else does. They bring nothing unique to the table. But those who leave a lasting impact master something so completely that they become irreplaceable. Whether it is in business, combat, leadership, or any area of life, they develop a level of expertise, strategy, and execution that sets them apart from everyone else. The third step is to command respect without demanding it. Weak people seek validation, begging to be noticed. But the strong do not ask for recognition, they earn it. They move with such undeniable power, discipline, and results that people have no choice but to acknowledge their presence. They do not waste time proving themselves to others. They prove themselves through relentless action, consistent excellence, and complete control over their environment. The fourth step is to understand that fear and mystery create power. Those who master the phantom effect do not reveal everything about themselves. They are unpredictable, operating on a level that others cannot fully grasp. They move in silence when necessary, striking with precision when the time is right. They control how much people know about them, using mystery as a weapon. The weak are desperate to explain themselves, to justify their actions, to be understood. But the dominant remain strategic, controlled, and unreadable. The fifth step is to leave behind an undeniable legacy. The phantom effect is not just about being seen in the present, it is about being remembered long after you are gone. Most people will live and die without ever creating anything that lasts. Their names will disappear, their impact will fade, and the world will move on without them. But those who master the forbidden mindset ensure that their name, their influence, and their impact continue to echo through time. This does not mean seeking fame. It means building something so powerful that it cannot be erased. It could be a body of work, a movement, an idea, or an empire. Whatever it is, it must be so unshakable, so deeply rooted in history, that it remains long after you are gone. The phantom effect is not about visibility, it is about dominance. It is about becoming a force of nature, a presence so undeniable that the world has no choice but to take notice. To achieve this, you must operate at a level that others cannot comprehend. You must cultivate skills so sharp that they cannot be ignored. You must develop a mind so strong that it cannot be broken. You must move with such calculated power that every action leaves an impact. Because in the end, there are two types of people: those who fade into the background and those who shape reality itself. The question is, which one will you be? The world belongs to those who refuse to be ordinary. It belongs to those who break the rules of mediocrity, defy the expectations of the weak, and forge a path that most are too afraid to walk. The forbidden mindset is not for the many, it is for the few. The few who are willing to detach from illusions, to embrace their power, to cultivate relentless focus, and to master themselves beyond all limits. Most people will never reach this level because they are unwilling to do what it takes. They will read these words, feel inspired for a moment, and then return to their old patterns, trapped by fear, weakened by hesitation, and consumed by distractions. But not you. If you have made it this far, you are not like the rest. You are the exception. You are the one who sees through the lies, who rejects the chains of limitation, and who refuses to let the world dictate your reality. The forbidden mindset is not just a way of thinking. It is a way of living. It demands total transformation, not just in how you see the world, but in how you operate every single day. It is about moving through life with an unshakable mind, an indestructible will, and an unstoppable force of action. It is about developing a level of discipline, focus, and resilience so powerful that nothing, not fear, not failure, not pain, not resistance, can break you. To live by this mindset, you must commit to it fully. There is no halfway. You cannot embrace strength while holding on to weakness. You cannot chase mastery while clinging to mediocrity. You cannot seek dominance while being controlled by emotions, excuses, or external validation. This path is not easy. It was never meant to be. It will demand more from you than anything else in life. It will require you to destroy your old self, to rebuild yourself without limits, and to forge an identity that can stand against anything. You will lose people. You will face doubt. You will have moments where everything seems impossible, and that is exactly why most people fail. But if you can endure, if you can embrace the struggle, if you can hold on to this mindset when the world tries to pull you back into weakness, then you will reach a level of power that few will ever know. You will become the force that cannot be ignored, the presence that cannot be broken, the mind that cannot be controlled. You will not just win, you will dominate. This is the forbidden mindset. Master it, and the world is yours.